What do you make of the government's position? Let's start with your overall reaction to the commitment to recognise Palestine. Are you comfortable with it?
Well, just coming off the back of Penny, there's a lot to be distressed about now, isn't there? We're distressed about October 7, 2023. We're distressed about the extent of the military intervention in Gaza. We're distressed about the starvation. I'm now distressed about the division it's causing in our local communities here in Australia. We've seen that writ large now. Look, it's a very complex issue and a difficult one. I wouldn't criticise the Prime Minister for the path he has now taken. The whole thing really hinges on this. Will this action embolden Hamas or marginalise Hamas? Now, the Prime Minister is arguing the latter, that this will marginalise Hamas. He's got a very solid argument there. He knows a lot more about it than me. He's had conversations with the Israeli Prime Minister and other partner countries, so I've got to have faith that he's taken the right path here. What is clear, I've said here many times, that Hamas could end this tomorrow by handing back the hostages and putting down their weapons. But what is I don't recoil from that, but what is very clear is that that's not going to happen. So what's next? Maybe this is the only alternate path we have.
When you look at the partner for peace, though, the Palestinian Authority is renowned for being a corrupt entity, and one that was so unpopular with the Palestinian people, they voted for Hamas over the PA in elections.
All those years ago, of course. It's bordering on bizarre that we're now turning to the PA as the middle person or the fix in all of this. And it raises the other question. I mean, the PA doesn't have any money. It relies itself on international organisations. So who is going to fill the vacuum in an economic sense in Gaza? Who is going to rebuild the infrastructure there? That's the million. I mean, the Egyptians, the other Arab states don't seem particularly keen on that question. Israel doesn't have the means. In the end, and I think I said this last time we spoke, what matters here is Donald Trump. And that's not only in terms of the peace process, but the reconstruction process.
Yeah, it remains the most important relationship in the world, and that is the security guarantor and ally of Israel being the United States.
And that's the other thing to be distressed about. Now, where are we now with the Abraham's Accord? That is the normalisations of relationship between the Arab states and Israel. That was very well progressed, and that's all in doubt now. But what does this mean for our relationship with Israel and therefore our relationship with the United States? It's again, there's plenty to be worried about.
And I put to Penny Wong, is this not a sad moment, given Australia was one of the first supporters of Israel as a homeland for the Jewish state?
Yeah.
At the UN, all those years back, 1947, Australia was one of the first on board to sign, and this would be the biggest split in our relations since then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is plenty to be distressed and sad about. And of course, we all hope and pray that that relationship can be rebuilt.
On to one final thing, not completely separate, but you gave a major speech last night to the Crawford Fund for Food Security, of which you're a patron. And you're arguing, you made a broad-ranging speech, but one of the points is when it comes to net zero, that abatement and in terms of land abatement is also an important area that Australia should be capitalising on.
That's right. The Crawford Fund for Food Security works with the Australian Centre for Agricultural Research, International Agricultural Research, and we focus on food security in developing nations. We are a not-for-profit. And I was making the point last night, well, I'm talking to a land sector audience, of course, researchers and scientists in that space, and I was just making the point that we have an absolute fascination. I mean, it's very clear now that our path to net zero is not without risks, whether it be, lack of social licence, planning approval issues, the adequacy of wind and solar to keep our grid stable. And we need to put the net back into net zero. We need to be talking not only about mitigation, that is wind turbines and solar panels, but also sequestration, taking carbon out of the atmosphere, and soil health, forestry, biofuels. They're all land sector-based initiatives. There's a lot of innovation out there in this field, but there's a lot of money going to mitigation, renewable energy, for example. There's too little money going to the sequestration side of the equation.
It's a good point, particularly with AI and that quantum computing and all of the technology that comes with it. You would think the sequestration element, it opens up a whole new range of possibilities.
Kieran, no one believes we're on track to our targets, to net zero. Now, I'm not saying we do less with renewables or less on climate change. I'm saying we do more. All the wind we can have, all the solar we can have, all the batteries we can have. But we've got to look to things like soil health and forestry, the land sector more generally, sustainable aviation fuels, which also helps us with our sovereign capability. And of course, on the other, back on a different side of the equation again, more on carbon capture and storage, particularly in the gas sector.
Joel Fitzgibbon, great to catch up as always. Thanks.
Thanks, Kieran.